Most advisors think the biggest threat in the AI era is technology. It's not. The real threat is compression, because AI is accelerating systems that already reward convenience, repeatability, standardization, controllable behavior. And if advisors don't recognize what's happening, they slowly become easier to replace. That's what this presentation is about. Why traditional pedagogical teaching keeps advisors below the line, and why andragogical behavioral training builds authority above the line. Because the future of advisory business will increasingly divide into two groups: replaceable operators and irreplaceable authorities. And the choice determines your future. This is the industry's runaway loop. Most advisors enter it without realizing it. It begins with convenience. The industry says, we'll handle the compliance, we'll handle planning, we'll handle marketing, we'll handle AI. And initially, that feels productive. But convenience creates dependency, and dependency creates skill atrophy. The advisor slowly stops building judgment muscles, original thinking weakens, confidence shrinks, then identity compression begins. The advisor learns to follow the script, stay in the box, avoid risk, become repeatable, and eventually economic compression follows. Differentiation disappears, pricing pressure increases, margins shrink, and finally, the advisor becomes representation instead of stewardship. Not leading the client, not owning the outcome, simply operating inside the system. And the loop reinforces itself. That's the danger. This is where the problem becomes deeper than AI. The issue is the training architecture itself. Traditional pedagogical systems optimize for information transfer, standardization, repeatability, compliance, controllable outcomes, institutional scalability. That architecture creates highly trainable operators, not sovereign authorities. And that distinction matters enormously. Advisor Crunch approaches this differently. We use andragogical behavior training. That means self-directed learning, contextual application, behavioral reinforcement, consequence ownership, adaptive outcomes, individual sovereignty. This architecture develops independent thinkers and stewards, not system operators. That's the difference between learning information and installing authority. This line may become the most important distinction in the AI era. Below the line is replaceable work, execution, workflows, repeatable tasks, templated communication, platform dependency, price competition. AI and automation compress everything below the line. But above the line, something different happens. Above the line is judgment, stewardship, governance, behavioral leadership, consequence ownership, intergenerational guidance. That's where authority compounds. That's where durable advisor value lives. And the advisors who move above the line become harder to replace over time. The gap between advisors is widening, and AI accelerates it. The top one-third of advisors operate above the line. They own the problem, lead with judgment, build trust capital, create tangible alpha, earn irreplaceable status. They focus on outcomes, leadership, stewardship, authority continuity. Meanwhile, the bottom two-thirds remain trapped below the line. They compete on activity, products, accessibility, workflows, execution speed. That creates pricing pressure, replaceability, vulnerability, commoditization. And over time, the gap widens because authority compounds while execution compresses. This is where advisor crunch becomes fundamentally different. Most advisors still operate inside invisible value systems. They say they create value, but they cannot visibly prove it. And in the AI era, if value cannot be demonstrated visibly, it becomes compressible. That's why tangible alpha matters. Without tangible alpha, value is invisible. Advice looks interchangeable. Trust is assumed. Price becomes the decision. But with tangible alpha, value becomes visible. Judgment becomes documented. Outcomes become measurable. Trust becomes independently verifiable. This creates a moat AI cannot easily replicate because consequences don't get automated. Someone still has to own the judgment. Someone still has to lead the outcome. That's where durable advisor authority lives. This is the antidote. The runaway loop creates dependency. The authority restored loop rebuilds sovereignty. It starts with intentional selection. Choose tools that serve your strategy instead of allowing the tools to shape your behavior. Then, conscious configuration. You customize systems around your thinking, not default assumptions. Then, active governance. You use AI with oversight, not autopilot. Then, translation and ownership. You convert outputs into your language, your judgment, your point of view. Then, decision leadership. You lead the decision, you own the outcome. And finally, reinforce and evolve. Because authority is not restored once, it compounds recursively over time. This is also where Advisor Crunch approaches AI differently. Most advisors use AI transactionally, isolated prompts, fragmented outputs, surface level acceleration, no continuity, no reinforcement, no behavioral change. Advisor Crunch was built differently, recursively, behaviorally, architecturally. This became a controlled cognitive extension, meaning continuity, reinforcement, doctrinal coherence, behavioral alignment, recursive refinement, stabilized architecture. AI should become your co-pilot, not your authority, because AI quality is downstream from cognitive governance. You direct the AI. The AI does not direct you. The future belongs to advisors who move above the line. The first step is recognition. You must see where you're operating below the line and acknowledge the compression. Second, rebuild behavior around your authority, not activity. And third, build tangible alpha that compounds over time. Because this is where the industry is going. Knowledge becomes abundant, execution becomes infinite, and governed authority becomes scarce. And scarcity is where durable value migrates. That's where Advisor Crunch exists. Not as another coaching program, not as another information system, but as a behavioral authority architecture built for the AI era. Don't be most advisors. Be the advisor they can't replace.